Alright, this weekend we're going to be putting the Firebird on the lift and start to put it back together. And we just went through daylight savings and working in the evenings. It seems like it's a lot later than it really is, but one little thing that we got going on here is our steering wheel was really floppy. Now when we put the Firebird back together, we're going to need a way of steering it. And we went on Amazon and got the little bearing for it, and this should straighten it up and have the wheel so it ain't flopping around. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting this back together. The old bearings just kind of basically fell out, so we're just gonna go ahead and start reassembling this and tighten up this steering column. Alright, no more floppity steering wheel. This little snap ring you see in there, that is the impossible snap ring, unless of course you have one of these locking steering tools to compress that stiff spring back. And then it's still not easy, but it makes it possible. But got it back on there. It took a little doing, and now we got a pretty sturdy steering column. Not bad. Alrighty, now we can put the rest of it together and we'll have a steering wheel to steer the car around when we get it back on wheels. Alright, got my steering wheel back on and a little Firebird emblem there, and also got my brake assembly all cleaned up and painted. This has to go in first before we can mount the steering column up in there. So when we're ready to put it together, we'll be able to steer. Okay, it's a week or so later since our last Trans Am video, and it is weekend, so we're gonna go ahead and try to get the rear end pushed out of the way, get the body moved over onto the lift, and first we got to push the subframe up in there to get it in first so we can roll it under the body, and then we can go ahead and get our body mounts on there and get it bolted up, get our rear end pushed in afterwards, and bolt it up. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. we got it up in here, and we got the backside blocked up, and we're gonna see if we can lift this up without it falling off the lift and see what happens. So all right, pretty much got it up in the air. Now we just unbolt the frame. Okay, I'm gonna get these body mounts on here, roll this under, and put it up on jack stands. See if we can maneuver it over to the frame and get this bolted up. All right, looks like using 2 jacks will be the preferred method. We can maneuver this over. Well, let's see. I think I need to get it at a different angle. Not quite lined up here. Okay, getting pretty close. All right, let's reposition this one. I think we're pretty close there. All right, let's see if we can lower it down. Oh, wrong button. How are you doing there? Coming down the line now? Get them tightened up, I think we're good. Needs to go that way just a little bit. up a little bit. Keep going. Oh, come on. Oh, too far. Oh, let it down a little bit. Okay, now back up. Keep going. Okay, stop right there. Okay. Let me see if I can get this one in. Where'd the hole go? Okay. Wow, that one's lining up. Okay. Can't see the hole. Oh, there it is. I think it might be lined up. Where's my socket? Somewhere here. All right. All right. Got all 3 bolts in. Okay, did you get them slimed up good?
Yes, I'm sliming them down. Okay. There you go.
Yeah, that worked. Okay, another one.
And we got special slime.
Yeah, it's special slime.
There you go.
Okay. Right in there with the slime.
Cool.
All right, lower it down a little bit. A little more. A little more. A little bit. Whoa, that side's hidden. Okay, let me see if I can get this side lined up. There. There we go, right there. Almost. Lower it just a hair more. A little more? Almost there. I'm gonna need a hammer. Just a little bit more. All right. right, looks like it's gonna fit. All right, raise it up a little bit. A little more. Keep going. Oh, too far. Lower it down just a hair. A little more. Okay. Let's see where we're at over here. Can't tell. Gotta lower it down just a little bit more. A little more. A little more. Right there. Okay. I get the square lined up just right. I'm gonna need channel locks. I lost the nut. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. All right. Awesome. All right, we got her back rolling again, and she's in a lot better shape than when we started with her. She's got solid quarters all the way over here. This was all rotted out. Inner fenders were rotted out. Trunk drop-offs. Rocker panels were rotted out. Floor pans were rotted out. And we've got everything fixed from all the way up into the toe pans. And man, this is so much better than when we started. It's an actual car now. So I think tomorrow when we come in, we're going to go ahead and put the steering column in and the brake pedal assembly and all that good stuff. And that way we can steer it and push it around. All right, it's the next day. And earlier I had fixed the bearing in the steering column, and it's ready to go in. Of course, we're going to take it back out later on, kind of clean it up, make it look real pretty, but for right now we need it to steer the car. And my pedal assemblies, I got to kind of bolt them together, get them ready to go in there, and that way we can put in our steering column. So I'm going to go ahead and get that assembled and get it up in there so we can be able to steer this dude around. Had to get a little help lining up my spline, but got it in there and just got to finish bolting it up. We got her steerable now, and we can roll it around and steer it. And one thing I found really interesting is that the old leaf springs were collapsed, and we're setting a lot higher. It's kind of almost too high, but then I got to thinking, we still got to put the rear bumper on. That weighs quite a bit. Rear glass, the doors, the seats, all of the interior stuff. Yeah, it's going to come down some. Of course, it was setting really low in the back before, but I think now we're going to go ahead and get her pushed over to the other shop. And the first thing that I want to do is get the radiator core support cleaned up and painted. I probably have to do a little bit of rust repair on it, but we'll get it all cleaned up so that we can mount that on there, and that gives us a reference point to how we're going to fit our inner and outer fenders and all that good stuff. And still got to do a little more cleaning over there, that tar gooey stuff, but yeah, we're going to get her back over in the other shop and start working on the front end of it. Okay, I got my radiator core support over here, and the first thing I want to do is work on this rust repair right here. I've got all my brackets and everything all unbolted over there. Those I'll clean up individually. And I found a piece of this old door, and it's got these like hump shaped, and just so happens that the rust is right here where this kind of a hump is. That's where the battery tray bolts to, and it's pretty rusted out right there. So what I'm going to do is use this piece, get it all cleaned up, and use a section of it that I got out of an old door. And it's pretty thick. It's like 16 gauge, so that ought to be pretty strong. So I think I'm gonna cut it off about right here, and then try to hammer out some of this, and then cut out the little opening for it. Probably have to make a pattern first, but we'll see if we can go ahead and get this patched up. Okay, I got a bunch of little pieces fit up now, and this piece I took out of the door, and it fits in the puzzle like that and leaves that rectangular opening there. And of course it wasn't long enough, so I'm going to add on a little piece over here, and down here this little brace piece coming down here where it's supposed to be spot welded, it's come loose and it's just really rusted thin. So got another piece bent up and kind of shaped that size, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out and repair that there. So first piece of the puzzle, I need to get this one tack welded in. Then I can measure where I need to cut this off and whatnot. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this tack welded in. Alright, I got my little repair piece in here and got some plug welds so I can tack it down to that piece. And got this all tacked in. Of course, once we get a new battery tray, we'll know where to drill this hole out. And now that we got this patched and this patched, I'm gonna go ahead and get this fitted in here. Weld it all up solid, smooth it all out, make it seamless. And kind of running out of time today, so I think I'll come in tomorrow and finish up this welding and smoothing it out, and then I can go on to getting all this rust sanded out of here and cleaned up and get this in really good shape. I found a few more rust spots. This was pretty much completely gone. So made a little repair piece, put up in there. We've got some plug weld spots. Weld that seam up. And found another hole over here on the inside. And got a little patch piece made for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these welded up and finish cleaning this up and get it painted. think I got all my patching done. Got this little patch here, and then over here, got this patch done. And all that stuff is around the battery, so that's pretty much where the rust spots were. But after about a week of evenings, I've got this thing pretty well sanded down. Needs a little bit more here and there in the corners, and I think this weekend I'll come in and spray it down with POR 15 and get it mounted up on the subframe. Alright, after a week of evenings, I've got all my patching done on this, and even did a little sandblasting up in there where I couldn't reach with a wire wheel or sanders, and got it all ready to paint now. So I'm gonna put enough POR 15 on this thing so it'll last to the next ice age. So we're just gonna go ahead and start spraying this dude down. I got it all jacked up real high so I could get underneath here and get all the little spots that I missed. And the sun's been coming out intermittently. The breeze is blowing, so I think I'm just going to let it sit here and hang until it dries off a little bit. Hopefully by tomorrow it'll be dry and we can bolt it up to the subframe over there. So I think we'll be doing that tomorrow. All right, let's see if we can get this radiator course put on here. Got no help, but I think I got it set up where I can get a bolt started. Go up on here without falling off. Okay. There's one side. Oh well. Still got one started. We'll kind of stay there. Alright, got them on there kind of finger tight, so we got a little adjustment. And now we can start working on our fenders. Alright, got my fender set up on here just to see how everything's going to line up. And looks like it's pretty much in place. Got these bolts down here lining up. The ones down here where it meets the inner fender. All looks pretty good. Of course, gonna need to do some patching on this one. And the other one as well. It's got a hole right in the same spot, right where it traps a bunch of junk and moisture. And they've got this hole to access the blower motor. Now I kind of like the idea, but not the way they did it. Looks like a cutting torch and just use some zip screws and well, various types of screws. So I got another fender out back, and I think I'm gonna cut the section out that fit over that, clean up this hole and put some rib nuts in it and try to make it look really good, because you don't want to have to pull your whole car apart just to change the blower motor. So, but these fenders are going to be for another video, but I wanted to try to get a few things done on this radiator core support. Got my hood latch out of the dip, and I want to go ahead and get some paint on it and a few other little brackets that go down here before they flash rust. So we're going to get that painted up, and we can go ahead and bolt a few things onto this. Okay, I've got my lower brackets out of the dip and all rust free and painted up. These go up in here, support that. And I've got this center brace piece that supports where the hood latch goes. It's come out of the dip. It even took almost all the paint off, and for sure the rust, and saved this little clip, which is going to go right here, and that holds this release cable in place. So I'll get a little paint on this and let it dry. I can start bolting all the little odds and ends onto this radiator core support. Alright, I got all the little brackets painted and ready to put on. Got my little C-clips on and got a bunch of new bolts. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this all bolted together. Okay, this is why you want to save every little clip. That goes there for the release cable, and we've got this little pin, and I can get this cable on here. Okay. Then this little clip and goes over here on the other side, and I can get it clipped. There it goes, and there we go. Looks like it's gonna work. All right, pretty much got the radiator core support done, and I think saving the original is gonna make everything fit a lot better. So that's probably gonna be it for this video. Next time around on the Trans Am, I've been getting the fender stripped down, cleaned up, and I gotta do a little repair job on both of them right around that same area. We'll get them cleaned up and primer and get them bolted on, fitted with the doors, and that way we can get all of our body gaps lined up, start to get it all ready for body work. Well, we appreciate y'all watching.